All right, we are here again. We have found ourselves in a Agni James guided meditation, and I'm just so grateful that you all are here. And today we have, oh, hey JT Farms, good to see you again. It always brings a smile to my face when I see you type in the chat. So yeah, it's just great that you're here. You've been a strong supporter of this channel the entire time, and it's without you, I don't know if this channel would be nearly as successful as it's been so far. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you showing up time and time again. So today we're going to discuss something a little different. Hey Rokohimda or Rokohemda, how's it going? Good to see you. You've also been showing up time and time again, and it's truly heartwarming to know that you care enough to show up and that you're getting something out of this. So thank you. Today we're going to discuss something a little bit different. We are going to discuss the notion of free will. Now, many people haven't ever really thought about free will, whether we actually have it or not. A lot of people just go through their daily lives and do the things they want to do, go pursue the career they want to pursue, pursue the mate they want to pursue, maybe get married, have kids, career, yada yada, and they feel they're doing everything that they're doing according to their own volition. But that might not be the case. Now you may think, well, wait a minute, that's kind of strange, Agni. Like, why would that? How could that not be the case? I mean, surely it was my choice to, marry the person I wanted to marry. Surely it was my choice to apply for the jobs that I wanted to apply for. Surely it was my choice to, I don't know, scratch my nose right now, right? These are all free actions according to the general way people perceive reality. But maybe they're not. Maybe these are not free actions. Okay, so it's now this debate, the free will debate, goes back forever. I mean, at least thousands of years to the beginning of Western philosophy, with the pre-Socratics, my favorite Parmenides, and his complement Heraclitus and Thales, and all of the pre-Socratic guys that that kind of hung out and started philosophy in the Western tradition. And then leading up to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and all those guys, that crew, I like to call them. They're a good group of guys, right? And they spawned Western philosophy. And then the debate kind of started there, and then it's kind of continued throughout the ages, and it's the way things are argued and articulated, and the arguments that come forth, and the rebuttals of those arguments, and then the objections to those rebuttals have all evolved quite much over the years. But I'm just gonna try to keep it pretty simple and talk about some possible objections to the notion of free will. So in Western philosophy, you have what are called determinists, or sometimes they're referred to as physicalists. And they're a group of people that believe that every single thing that happens in the universe is determined, is basically predetermined by material events. You can also call them materialists, right? So what they would say is, they would say, well, okay, sure, that boulder fell down the hill right there, but from the time of the first cause, which a lot of people believe is the Big Bang, that is what actually determined that boulder to fall down the hill. So they would say if you could go back to the moment of the first cause, and you had a computer big enough to analyze all the events starting from the moment of that first cause, or the Big Bang, then you would be able to predict that, I don't know, in 2021, some boulder would fall down a hill on some mountaintop, right? And now that's not that. I don't think there's a ton of controversy around that. Most people are willing to accept the notion that material events and states of affairs and things like that all can all arise out of predetermined causes, right? And those predetermined causes are the things that spawned everything, basically. Now, what a lot of people have trouble with, though, is the notion that that the first cause, let it be the Big Bang or whatever caused the Big Bang or whatever, could be responsible for human thought. And that's kind of interesting to think about, right? Let's think for a second. What if there were actually material, physical events that caused human thought? And not just caused human thought, but caused us to think in the ways we do, and not just think in the ways we do, caused us to perform the actions that we do. Now, this may seem bewildering, right? Whenever we do something in life, we feel like, oh, I did this. I sat in that chair according to my own volition, right? That was my choice to sit in that chair, and I couldn't have chosen otherwise. I remember thinking about it. I remember thinking, oh, well, should I sit in that chair or should I not sit in that chair? And I chose to do it. But the physicalists and hard determinists will argue that you may think you chose to sit in that chair of your own volition, and you may think you may have sat in that chair, but maybe it was actually all a result of a bunch of cause and effect processes stemming from the Big Bang. Maybe at the time of the Big Bang, there was a chain reaction of events such that you would be sitting here right now checking out this guided meditation, and you would be listening in the way you're listening and thinking in the way you're thinking. Maybe your thoughts and every thought you even have has been determined by the Big Bang. Now, there's a tremendous amount of resistance to this notion because it takes away something very important from humanity. It takes away our capacity to act freely, right? Something central to us, to human beings, is the notion that with consciousness, with first-person consciousness and self-reflective consciousness, we have the ability to act freely. And if you try to take that away from humanity, if you try to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we're not acting freely, maybe we're just a cog in the wheel, we're just a machine that has been programmed from the time of the Big Bang, then people start getting a lot of resistance. And personally, I've thought about this so much that I don't have any resistance anymore. But a lot of people do. A lot of people hate the notion. They feel like we're downplaying the agency of humanity and what all that we've accomplished. If we're just saying, oh well, it had to be that way. There was no other way that things could have arose. There was no other way that you could think anything differently than you're thinking right now. And then another cool side notion, philosophical notion relating to this, which is kind of interesting, is the notion of culpability, right? Because think about it this way. If free will doesn't exist, if everything that you've ever done in your life was determined from the moment of the Big Bang and you had no choice but to act in those ways and to do those things that were predetermined, then how do we punish people, right? How do we say, okay, this is an evil person, this person's going to jail the rest of their lives, or this person is, made a terrible blunder and made a huge mistake here. What were they thinking, right? No, then we have to reevaluate the way we treat people, right? So, just real quickly, one brief distinction that I want to throw out there is that someone can be, even if free will turns out to not exist, you can still hold someone accountable for their actions. And now you might think, wait a minute, how is that possible? That doesn't make sense. If John had to murder Mary, and there was no other way he could have stopped himself. How can you hold him accountable? Well, if he's not safe to society, you can put him in jail, right? Um, but one thing that I argue that is really important is that if free will does not exist, and uh, if free will does not exist, we can still hold people accountable for their actions and put them in jail, but we should change the way in which we view that person, change the way in which we judge that person. So if it is the case that free will does not exist and John kills Mary, then we should consider, still feeling love and compassion for that person because they had no other way of acting. But at the same time, we should, still protect ourselves by, by incarcerating that person to whatever extent the culture deems fit, right? A few arguments against. So I basically laid out the physicalist and determinist point of view of what they believe free will is, and there's some compatibilist notions that I will get to in a second. First, let me get to Moore's argument against free will. So Moore was basically saying, okay, there's all these elaborate arguments against free will, but the one that he found most convincing, the one that he came up with, was, my arm, I feel like moving my arm, I moved my arm, therefore we have free will. Now, it's kind of a funny argument, right? Because it's just basically, you're reading like a 20, 40 page paper in which a person's, meticulously laying out all the a beautifully stylistic written argument going against the notion of free will, and is doing this, right? And then you have Moore, who's a brilliant philosopher, who just says, I want to move my arm, I moved my arm, therefore free will exists, right? But there's something about the simplicity of that argument that actually really rings true to humankind, that rings true to our inner being, right? Because yeah, it does seem like we have the capacity for free will. One of the biggest arguments against free will came from Leibniz. He was a psychologist from I think it was like the 70s, early 70s, and he basically was able to. Oh, hey, Lily Lavender, good to see you. Awesome. All right, everyone's here today. Okay, so so Leibniz basically hooked up electrodes to a person's brain, a person's mind, head, and then was able to take some readings. And I'm not going to get into the details of exactly what Leibniz did, but basically he was able to predict. I guess I need to get into the details. That's the thing with philosophy. It's like you don't want to get into the details, but sometimes you have to get into the details. All right. So it was something along the lines of a person exhibiting a grasping motion. So they had their arm out on a handle, and whenever they would grasp their hand, then it would be recorded. Whatever was going through their mind at the time was being the neurological impulses were being recorded. So but they weren't just being recorded while they were grasping; they were being recorded before they were grasping. So the electrodes were on the head, person had their hand on the lever, and then they were given a decision process. So they basically had to decide whether to grasp the handle or whether or not to grasp the handle. So some external stimulus came up, and then they had to choose. When the external stimulus came up, and then they chose to grasp the handle, all that was recorded. And what Leibniz found out through his research, and this is really, really interesting, was that before the person grasped the handle, before they actually grasped it with their hand, you could see the neural the neurons firing in the brain in the way that would that every time someone grasps a handle, the neurons fire. Right now, Okay, that's pretty cool, right? But the kicker is that they would ask the people, when are you consciously aware of the fact that you're going to grasp the handle? When are you going to grasp the handle? And so, like right before, so they'd say, okay, hey, here's a stimulus. Are you going to grasp the handle? And the person would kind of be thinking about it, and then they would say, yes, I'm going to grasp the handle. And I've decided to grasp the handle. And then they would grasp the handle. Um, Now, this is the most beautiful thing. And if you only get one thing out of this entire this discourse on free will, get this, check this out. This is really neat. Leibniz. Well, I'm sorry. Why am I saying? I'm sorry. I'm saying. Okay, I'm botching the name of the guy. But anyways, okay. He said, or he found that you could actually predict whether or not the person was going to grasp the handle before they even knew that they were going to choose to grasp the handle. Now, it was just a split second before, right? But for a split second, that person had no idea in their mind whether they were going to grasp the handle, but they, but Leibniz knew he was going to grasp the handle, and and they would grasp the handle then if Leibniz knew, and if they had no idea they were not going to grasp the handle, Leibniz knew that they were not going to grasp the handle, and they wouldn't grasp the handle. Now it was just like, I forget what it was, something super small, like a tenth of a second. But still, think about what that does to the notion of free will. Think about that, right? That kind of blows everyone's mind. It blew everyone's mind at the time because it's yeah, totally interesting, Lily. I mean, it's if we are actually just biochemical impulses, shooting up through a physical frame, and our free will is illusory. If we really don't have free will in that sense, then that's kind of crazy. Now, there have been a tremendous amount of objections to the experiment, and some have tried to refute it, and they have done to some extent, but at the same time, not quite. And then there's been a bunch of rebuttals to those objections, and it's just kind of a messy area now. But it might be the case right now that that experiment showed that we don't have as much free will as we thought we did. That Sam, yeah, oh, that's awesome that you know about Sam Harris. Sam Harris is incredible. Yes, I love Sam Harris, and he does. You're right. He does have some great arguments for that. I've read a bunch of stuff. I've watched a bunch of stuff of Sam Harris, and yeah, that's cool that you know Sam Harris. He's actually he's close to my heart. Let's put it that way. And there's a lot of, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of good arguments against the notion of free will. So keep that. So that's just something important to note. That there is a chance. Now, I'm not saying that we definitely don't have free will, and I'm not saying we definitely do have free will. But it's just important to understand that it's in debate, right? It's not most people. Most people will just say, "Oh, of course free will exists," right? But no, it's not. It's not as easy as that. We now have, and with the way we're able to do more fMRIs and really study the brain and study the neural firing in the brain and the patterns of firing that are associated with agency and all sorts of other things like that, it may turn out one day that we come to the conclusion that we actually don't have any free will. Yeah, very interesting, right? One attempt to kind of draw the middle road was done by Spinoza. Yeah, JT Farms, it is a lot to think about, right? I mean, think about what that would do to humanity if we realized that not just every single action that we ever performed, but every single thought that we've thought our entire lives at any given moment was predetermined from the time of the Big Bang. right? Totally amazing. Like every thought in your head right now, in my head right now, in every person's head, every single thought was determined from the time of the Big Bang. That's wild. That's totally wild to think about, right? I mean, yeah, it would change. It would definitely change a lot of the ways we viewed other people, um, and basically we viewed the whole world. It would change the ways we view the whole world as well. So, yeah, interesting to keep in mind. Spinoza he's one of my favorite philosophers. I think we're talking around 1700s, maybe going into 1800s. I don't remember. I'm terrible with dates, but around that time period. And anyways, he had a compatibilist notion of free will, in which he argued that he argued the deterministic standpoint, right? He said, okay, everything is determined from the moment of the Big Bang. But he didn't say the Big Bang. He said, from the first cause. That's how philosophers like to describe it. From whatever it is that spawned this whole phenomenal world, the world that we see on a daily basis when we're walking around, interacting with other people, etc. But he had his compatibilist notion held that we do have the ability to overcome the strict deterministic route. So, like, most the hard determinists will say we have zero free will, right? But Spinoza will say, well, we have free will. We don't have free will, but if we're in a mindset where we are focused on logic and reason, and we can overcome that impulse, that desire to act unfreely, and then we can actually act with a certain level of freedom. Now, he was a little unclear about exactly how much freedom that we could act with, but a lot of it had to do with logic and reason and acting according to one's foundational nature. Maybe connecting with the cosmos. He used the word God, but he was kind of vague with the notion at times. But yeah, if you're interested in Spinoza, I would definitely recommend you check out his work, The Ethics. It's just a phenomenal piece of work. I've read it a couple times, and I really enjoyed it. All right, so we are ready for some meditation. Just like last time, I'm going to start the Buddhist chant that has a chime that goes off every 2 seconds. And if someone could give me feedback about the volume of it, that would be greatly appreciated. Let me start it up right now. Let's see. June Aid Yeet, you are adopted. I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean you like the channel, or like you were actually adopted? I don't know what that means. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you like what you see, just please click on follow. And if you really like what you see, please hit subscribe. We're going to be doing philosophy and meditation all the time on this channel, and I love having people in here who are interested in this. So, okay, that's great. Let's see. Okay, so if you want to find a nice, comfortable, the volume's good? All right, thanks, Joy. Appreciate it, JT Farms. You're going to want to find a nice, comfortable, seated position. Close your eyes. And take a slow, deep inhale in through your nose, gently raising your belly. And a slow, deep exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. And a slow, deep inhale through your nose, gently raising your abdomen. And a slow, deep exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your abdomen. The chime rings every 2 seconds. Use it to develop a regular, comfortable breath count that you can utilize throughout the remainder of this meditation. When distracting thoughts enter your mind, gently release them and return to your breath. Take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, filling your body with pure love and light. And exhale through your mouth, releasing all that does not serve you. And a slow, deep inhale through your nose, bringing in all of creation's essence into your body. And a slow, deep exhale through your mouth, releasing all thoughts and feelings that bind us to this world. Stay true to your breath count throughout the remainder of this meditation. Gently breathe in through your nose and visualize pure love and energy flooding into your body. And exhale through your mouth, releasing all that does not serve you. Breathe in through your nose, setting your intention for peace. And exhale through your mouth, relinquishing all that hurts you. With each breath cycle, you become nourished, complete, and whole once again. Showing up for yourself day in and day out for meditation is the healthiest thing you can do for yourself. By doing so, you increase your overall peace and well-being. And then when you go out into the external world, that peace and well-being is radiated to others. And then they feel the love and peace within you. That's because you're connecting with this part of them that is truth. You're connecting with the love and light within each one of them and returning to the source of creation where only oneness exists. You are all beautiful. You are all perfect as you are right now. You just need to realize your own perfection. Things that bind you to this world, maybe shame or guilt or fear, anxiety, they're all just distractions. They're ego distractions designed to keep you stuck here, to keep you away from the truth. But in reality, the truth is, you have everything you need and everything you've ever needed in the entire world within you right now for perfect peace. Because perfect peace is your natural state. And whenever you lose sight of your perfect peace, whenever you leave home, and home in this sense means that state of oneness, whenever you leave from there, you lose sight of the love and joy that is your inheritance, the love and joy that is you. So take a slow, deep inhale in through your nose, allowing yourself to fill with love and light. And a slow, deep exhale through the mouth, releasing all that does not serve you. And a slow, deep inhale, filling your belly with pure oxygen. And a slow, deep exhale, releasing all that is not worthy of you. Stay true to your breath count throughout the remainder of this meditation. One day, when humanity releases its ego, we will all reunite in perfect oneness. This whole world will disappear, and we'll realize it was just an illusion to begin with. We will return home to the place that we have always been, the only place we could ever be, and we will reunite fully with the Source, and the Source of creation's will be one with our will. And at that moment, we will be so grateful for the capacity to create and all that we have created, all the loving thoughts and kind actions, all the beauty. We are responsible for that because we are pure light and love, extended in every direction to infinity. Take a slow, deep inhale in through your nose, the biggest breath of the day, and a slow, deep exhale through the mouth, releasing all that is ego. Gently open your eyes and return to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of the day. Namaste. I am so grateful for all of you who showed up today. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you in this meditation. By meditating, you are doing the best possible thing to increase your overall well-being. So thank you. Oh, Swissar! Hey, good to see you. Namaste. It's so much love and support. And Lily was here. JT Farms. We've had a great group today. This is wonderful. Roko Hemda. I just couldn't be happier to have such wonderful people in this Twitch community. Swissar, you know how good people are here, and you've been the introducer. You know, you came in and you introduced us to people and told us who to raid and everything at the beginning, and it was so awesome. And we're just I'm just so grateful for all your help. Thank you. JT Farms, you're incredible. Okay, so we are gonna raid someone. Let's figure out who we're gonna raid. Oh, real quick, before we raid someone, if you haven't clicked follow, I'd greatly appreciate a follow. And if you like what you saw today and you got something out of this meditation, please click subscribe and help support the channel. It also helps boost our exposure, and then more people will be able to see the meditation and experience the meditation. So thank you so much. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's great. Yeah, we did have. It was actually kind of funny. We should actually talk about it a little bit. We had a troll that came in at one point, and I just updated OBS, and my Twitch chat was not there, so I wasn't able to time him out or ban him right away. So he was able to say some, obnoxious things. But whatever, it kind of adds to the experience, right? To ban the troll every now and then. So, but yeah, that's good. That's good, Swiss, that you got that troll. You got that troll banned on Other Fit and Health's channel. That's awesome. So thank you for that. Um, yeah, all right. So follow or subscribe, and then let's raid someone. All right, let's see who is available right now. I am seeing Hana. Yogo Hana is available to raid. We could raid Yogo Hana, and otherwise it's just the only other person showing up that I see is Check Meow, who is just doing a rerun. Swiss, I don't know if you feel the same way, but like I'd rather raid someone who is actually live streaming as opposed to doing a rerun, right? I'm not. That's just kind of how I feel. It's like my personal preference. So I'm going to raid Yogo Hana, and I think you might have actually been the one who recommended Yogo Hana to me to begin with. So let's start the raid. Yeah, no rerun raids, absolutely. Okay. Thank you again, everyone. Namaste. I love you all.